Hello, my name is Brady Prescott, and I'm a director and cinematographer, and this is the behind the scenes and analysis of my reimagination of a scene from Good Time, directed by the Safdie brothers. Now, first off, let's start with why I chose this project. I believe the Safdie brothers have a grip on intensity. They know how to shoot when it comes to intensity. Their scripts lean that way too, but it's the camera that really does a lot of the heavy lifting. And so what they do is long lens and handheld shots. This gives you like a suffocating feeling in the frame that you cannot escape from as an audience member. You pair that with a good script that's ramping up in intensity as well, and you have just the perfect storm. So I chose a scene from them because I wanted to demonstrate how good they are at what they do, and my plan was to ruin what they did by shooting the opposite, going wide angle lens and going static, so tripod or sticks. Now, as I got into planning out my shoot, the cinematographer in me couldn't help but want to get some pretty shots. I couldn't commit to just completely ruining the scene, so I'm trying to think, how could I make something kind of work? It'll never be as good as them, so it'll still show that they made the correct choices, but something that I could still somewhat be proud of. And it was actually day of the shoot. I was conceptualizing. As you can see here in my sketch pad, this is my living room where I was planning on shooting, and this is like a static wide, and this was going to be the reverse. And you can see I have pink and blue light spilling. If you ask me why my film looks the way it does, I planned and intended to shoot with tons of color. Practical pink light, boost it with an RGB, practical blue light, and boost that with an RGB. So this was kind of the conception of the wides, but then I thought of a movie that I love called Long Legs, and what they did on Long Legs was they shot wide angle, so not going away from my original plan yet, but they still shot close-ups. And with a wide angle close-up, you get the face really tight, but then you also get all this background going on, and that kind of causes some disorientation. And one of the characters in the scene is intoxicated, so I was like, well, that could kind of work in a different way. It's somewhat intense, more disorienting, but still more intensity than just traditional coverage. So I started looking at things like this, which, again, you get that real tight on the face, tons of background, pink and blue light spilling everywhere. So that being said, let's get into the gear I used. I used a Sony a7 IV. I used a DJI RS3 Mini gimbal. I used my tripod, which is like a sun pack. I used a tiny little MC that I have, 2 RGB panel lights on stands and barn doors, and then DJI mic minis for the audio. So now let's get into the behind the scenes that I have, and I'll kind of watch along with you guys. So here we have my beautiful fiance, Brianna Rose, doing makeup on Brian Nordyke, who's going to be playing Ray, who's the supporting character. And in that scene, he has a black eye. He has some bandages too, but I didn't want to go full bandages. I wanted to see Brian's face, so we just did a black eye. And now here, we're going into what I'll say is this is more like a tech rehearsal / blocking. I kind of have my guys. I told them where I was going to have them sit. Brian on this side of the couch, Michael playing our lead over there, Connie. And you can see my RGBs are set up. They're not exactly in place yet. Again, this is a guesstimate, so I'm just kind of throwing lights up and let my guys run through the blocking, maybe give them some notes along the way. In the corner there, you can see one of my practicals, which is what I was going to use. These are motivating that light, so it makes sense that there's this color because you see that practical and this one, another pink one right here, which I love these lights. Again, I know you're supposed to clash colors, but I like it. It's my reimagination. That's why I did it. Here we have table read, or kind of an extended table read. I had them sitting at the table originally, but now they're reading still from their scripts, but at the table. And here's a better look at that light as well. Here's them getting further into it, getting more intense. We're standing now, still in a read, but kind of getting used to it. And then here I am doing the director thing, giving them some notes. Basically, this scene is 2 narcissists, but the lead, Connie, is much more of a narcissist. He thinks he's better than this other character because he hasn't been caught yet, but they're both criminals, and the other guy is drunk. Now getting into actual shots, here's my little cameo. This is also part of my reimagination. I originally planned to just rip off a newsfeed. I know I joke in this that I couldn't find an actor, but no, I wanted to put myself in, if not ripping off just a normal newsfeed. Here we are still blocking a little bit. And then here's first actual shot. We start a little bit wider because I know I'm going to punch right in and go into these close-ups on my wide. This was an 85. Now we're right in it. We're going. And you can see right away he's drinking. That, I don't know, that gives an inebriated feel, and I love it. You can see that blue coming off from the light behind Michael there. That's that LED, but I have my panel light set up to motivate it and boost it. And that was the whole plan. And then this is an 85 as well. I couldn't help myself but get a couple shots like they did original, but I did make it static instead of handheld. And then on those shots on Brian, like right here, if you can't see, I have a MC that's boosting the blue light, because one panel light to boost the pink, and then the other light at the beginning of this, you can see that there's some flickering, and that was for the TV that was playing in the scene, and I had my gaffer flickering the light up and down. So what did I learn from this? That you can't do it like the Safdie brothers do, but sometimes there is another way. You know, like, I don't think this works as well at all. If I were to shoot it, I would shoot it like they did, but this is something that's really interesting to me, because I love how it looked. I do think it looks cool. I love all the depth I got in the background while still being on a tight shot, so kind of getting the best of both worlds. And it was an editorial choice to stick with those shots for most of the film. I did get about 6 other angles, but when it came to editing, I said, I want to commit to the bit for the most part. Every now and then I gave it a breath and backed up a little bit for like a beat. But once I saw these shots, I was like, this is what it is. We're going to stay on this wide angle. We're going to commit to the long legs look. So thank you so much for watching my behind the scenes. I hope you enjoyed the film.